Can a billionaire lose it all? I bet you think that if you made $1 billion, you would never lose it. Well, it will depend on your investment portfolio and how well the market factors are favorable to you. In the cases of these people, circumstances beyond their control led to their financial decline. It's 2021, and Jeff Bezos is still the wealthiest man alive. But here are the top 8 famous people who dropped in ranking on the Forbes list of billionaires. Note, they are not suddenly poor because of the drop. They only didn't meet the $2.1 billion cutoffs instituted by Forbes. 8. Do Won and Jin-Suk Chang. The pair have been on the list for a long time. Both immigrants, the couple expressed their excitement about having a combined $5.4 billion with their Forever 21 business. The pair were doing well and remained on the Forbes list until 2019, when their stocks started dropping. The company was recording lower sales, and the mall-based jobs were becoming obsolete. The once happy Forbes-listed couple was nearing bankruptcy with these new developments. So while coronavirus was moving slowly across borders, the company was falling apart. The once billion-dollar company went for $81 million to a group of interested buyers. The investors include Simon Property Group and Brookfield Properties. However, it was revealed in July 2021 that Shaq O'Neal, former basketball player and entertainer, practically owns Forever 21 now. The couple is currently off the list with a $100 million net worth. Julio Mario Santo Domingo III is a well-known disc jockey in New York. His career as an entertainer is running smoothly, but his fortunate surname funds his lifestyle. He owes his billion and more to his grandfather. His grandfather sold his Colombian brewery Bavaria in exchange for a 15% stake in SAB-Miller, a notable beer brand, in 2005. That investment was prudent because AB InBev bought SAB-Miller for $107 billion in cash and stock a year later. That 15% share that has been handed down to DJ Julio Mario Santo is what he is thriving on. Sadly, 2020 was a lousy year to own a beverage company. There were many plant closures for health reasons, which affected productivity. On top of that, AB InBev also suffered a double-digit decline in sales within China and South Korea, 2 countries that hold their best sales. As a result, their shares dropped 30% and later 28% in a single year, which has left Julio with an estimated $1.4 billion. 6. George Yancopoulos. The controversies surrounding George Yancopoulos are many. He is a drug maker who is established in his field, but outside of that, a lot of public communication has gone wrong. He is remembered to have given the memorable speech at Yorktown High School where he touched on Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. The chief scientific officer at Regeneron Pharmaceuticals was met with heavy criticisms for his comments. Outside of controversy, the company he heads has hinted at creating a coronavirus antibody drug that could also prevent infection. He heads the drug research, and he says that clinical trials have begun. George has been with Regeneron since 1988 and owns 2% of the company's shares. The pandemic saw the shares increase to about 63%. But then, the pharmaceuticals are getting back to normal with the vaccine rollout. George Yancopoulos is worth $1.4 billion. 5. ELAINE WYNN. Wynn Resorts is one of the best resorts throughout Las Vegas, one of the best entertainment destinations. The resorts faced an unhealthy decline in demand during the pandemic and failed to come out after the 68% share decline when the pandemic was highest. The Wynn Group was co-founded in 2002 by Elaine and her ex-husband Steve, who sold his entire company shares. He has to step down due to sexual misconduct allegations, which he has denied. The reopening of the companies also presented COVID-related preventive expenditure. The Queen of Vegas, ELAINE WYNN, is down and under with her new net worth of $1.7 billion. It will be unsurprising to see her rise to the top in a year. 4. Vincent McMahon. World Wrestling Entertainment events were at a standstill as the pandemic took a full swing at anything that involved large gatherings. The shares of the company fell by 31% as tickets and merchandise were no longer selling. That is the primary source of investment of Vincent McMahon, who is also the chairman and chief executive of the company. That and his XFL. a league that competes with the NFL. He lost $200 million there. The league has been forced to ask for help, and a group including Dwayne Johnson has shown interest in buying the league. If that happens, McMahon will rise back up from $1.8 billion and onto the Forbes 400 list. 3. Edward DeBartolo Jr. DeBartolo Jr. was living off his shares in a realty deal from 1996. Simon Property Group acquired DeBartolo Realty for $1.5 billion. Those shares dropped by 59% due to the stay-at-home protective directive by WHO before 1998. DeBartolo owned the San Francisco 49ers, an NFL team. However, he was involved in a scandal where charges were leveled against him, and he had to transfer the ownership to his sister, Denise DeBartolo York. The incident happened in 1998, where he pleaded guilty to failing to report a bribe from a Louisiana government official. She still runs the team with her family. Edward received a presidential pardon from former President Donald Trump in February 2020. He currently sits on $1.8 billion. 2. Andrew and Peggy Churn. The Churns are owners of an exceptional Chinese fast food chain, Panda Express. With over 2,000 restaurants, they have been forced to close many down due to COVID-19. The industry is affected by COVID-19 did not stop the couple from actively collaborating with the relief organizations to support victims of the virus. They donated over $12 million worth of food and money to support the needy. Although very touching and highly humane, their $1 billion apiece made $2 billion for the year. That is still considered below the entry point for the list in the last 3 years. As the restaurant business is back on its feet, the Churns are a family to look out for. 1. John Tyson. Tyson Foods is a meat processing company with a grip on the meat industry. When the pandemic hit, the company's shares fell by 30%. The worst part is, over 10,000 employees at various plants were infected with the coronavirus. Families of those who died are in court suing for negligence. As the company spends money to deal with the suits, they are recording drops in their quarterly earnings due to COVID-19 related expenditure that would be due to their regular testing, personal protective equipment, and facility sanitization. That is reported to cost them $340 million. Now John Tyson is worth $2 billion. The global pandemic that is still in effect and the impact felt is not fully recovered. That is why these people find themselves in the predicament of being off the Forbes 400 list of billionaires 2021. Which of these people are you confident will make a comeback? What would you do to stay on the list if you were a billionaire? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.